4 here, right? And we'll have 4 there, 4 and 4. Okay, great. Here, some water. Did you guys have a good weekend? All right, my last chance to learn everyone's names. Okay, good. Daisy? Things get tougher. Fiona? Oh, no. Chun, are you here? Chun. Chun was here. Fiona's here. Casey. Sorry. Sit here, Chun. Sit here. Yeah, over there. Good. Got that one over there. Yanni. Tracy. Michael. Danny. Angus. You guys have the same face. Wilson. Wilson. Yes. Angus. All three of you guys have the same face. Oh, goodness. Danny and Wilson and Angus have the same faces. You guys are a little older. Faces. Campo. Carrie. Beatrice. Kenneth. Oh, praise God. I'm David. So what we're doing today, we're going to form groups. We're going to spend a lot of time on this particular activity because this may give you ideas about what you can learn and how you can learn for independent learning. You have homework next week, and then in 2 weeks' time, you have to submit your first assignment. That will be marked. After that, I'll provide some feedback. I'll show you a few things on Moodle and Mahara. Then we will talk about our learning plans. Hopefully you have completed one, right? Just planned one. You didn't have to do it yet. And we'll talk about that. I'll give you some homework, and then there'll be some feedback. We're going to work on the same things that we worked on last time. So you'll be able to demonstrate an ability to study English more independently. You'll be able to demonstrate increased awareness of your own proficiency and respond appropriately. You'll be able to express your opinions in discussions more accurately and effectively. We will discuss. Finally, you'll be able to identify the main points and ideas from spoken discourse. Okay? Any questions? Great. This one is less challenging than the last group forming activity. There are pairs of expressions. So you're going to receive something, and you need to find your partner. All right? So what will you receive? For example, of you will see the card that says rights. What word goes in here? Thinking about English and what you know about the language. Rights and responsibilities. That's a good try. Yes, that's a good try. Rights and justice. Little weaker, little weaker, little weaker, little weaker, little weaker. Okay, rights and responsibilities. Good.
Freedom.
Rights and freedom. Okay, little weaker, little weaker. Huh? Rights and opportunities. That's very weak. Rights and obligations. Okay, good, good, good. Now you are learning something about language. This is a very inductive approach. Okay, you're learning something about this expression. Here, let's just do this one, rights and wrongs. Okay, easy. Right? But rights and responsibilities, rights and obligations, good as well. All right. These not as good. Then we'll start explaining why. This will be very important for your learning. Okay, so you'll get one of these. All right, another one. Doings and throwings. All right, so find your partner, sit down. The first pair to sit down gets candy. I'm going to say it one more time. You're going to get a piece of paper. It will have either this or that. Find your partner, sit down together, let me see. Kenneth, what are the instructions?
Get a piece of paper and then find a partner and then get a C. The first have a partner can get candy.
Yes, the first correct pair gets candy. All right, so we'll give it a shot. Porter, wow, so cool. You guys are so cool. Okay. Good. You guys are looking around now. Everyone wants a head start. Right. Sit down next to each other. These are well known. Here, Sean, go. Stand up. Find your partner. Sit down. Find me. Quickly. Find your partner. Sit down together. Find me. You need to sit down together. Then call me. Call me. Call me. Okay, I'm coming. Yeah, I'm coming. Let me sit here. Good. Okay. Easy. Great. Cool. Great. Sit down together when you have your partner. Then let me see. Find your partner, let me see. Good, nice. Find your partner, sit down together. Got 4 here or 4 here? Your choice. Your choice. Your choice. What is your expression? Good. Okay, sit down together. Come on, guys. Not too difficult. This one's easier. Sit down together. Everyone's got some easy ones. Come on. Come on, find your partner, sit down together. Let me see. Let me see. Come on, guys. Sit down together. Sit down. Sit down together. Sit down together. What's your expression? Good. Okay. Come on, sit down together. We've got 4 here. Come on, guys. Almost there. Good. Easy. Only 2 outcomes. Only 2 outcomes. Let me see this one. Let me see this outcome. Trial and no. Okay. Good. Wow. You guys are good at this stuff. I'm thankful. Alright. Formers and introductions. That was pretty easy. I am very thankful. I'm going to call on each pair. You tell me what your collocation is. Ooh, let me write that word down. Collocation. Wow, great. This group here, what is your expression? Pros and cons. Good. This group here. Rules and regulations. Good. That group there. Supply and demand. Easy. Great. This group here. Aches and pains. Good. This group over here. Neat and tidy. Good. This group over here. Back and forth. Good. This group here. Peace and quiet. Great. And finally. Trial and error. Great. Nice job. Here we go. Let me make this smaller. Smaller. Alright. Good. So these are examples of collocations. More than one. And collocations are words that are more likely to appear with each other than not. So these are word relationships. Okay? So for example, rights is more likely to appear with this word than with this word or this word. Rights may appear with responsibilities and obligations, and that may be a more likely combination of words or relationship than rights and justice, or rights and freedom. So for example, you are more likely to hear trial and error, these two words together, than you are to hear trial and forth, these two words together. Okay? In the same way, back and forth, you're more likely to hear this word back and forth, these two words together in a text or in spoken language, than you are to hear back and demand, these two words together in a text or in spoken language. They have a relationship. Okay? More than chance, more than randomness. Okay? Any questions? Okay, can I get the pieces of paper back? Can you pass them up? Give them to maybe Yanni. Yanni will receive all 16 pieces of paper. Can you ensure that there are 16? All right, count them. Thank you. All right, moving on. Now we're just getting started. We're going to take a quiz. We're going to continue working with collocation, right? Ideas that this word is more likely to appear with this word than this word and that word. You need a piece of paper. I'm going to give you a quiz now. All right? So you need something to write with. I'm going to give you 5 collocations. You just try to fill them in. Can you make sure there's 16, Yanni? Okay. Let's do the first one. Okay, here's the deal. We're going to do this secondary school dictation style. Alright? So I'm going to say the expression, and I'm going to omit the blank. You have to fill in the blank. Alright? I'm going to do this twice. After that, I will type everything out, just so you can check your answer. Alright? So I'm going to say this one more time. I'm going to give you 5 collocations. I'm going to say each one, omitting the word, leaving something blank. You just fill everything in. Okay? Let's give that a shot first. Ready? Number 1, on the other blank. Number 1. On the other blank. Two, the extent to blank. Two, the extent to blank. Oh, it's awesome. Secondary school. Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. Great. Number 3, as well blank the. Number 3, as well blank the. Okay. 4, it is important blank. It is important blank. Five, at the same blank. Five, at the same blank. Let me give you one more, 6, okay? Bonus one. The total number blank. Number 6. The total number blank. Now I'm going to type them out. Ready. Give me new documents. Yep. Okay. Insert page break. Page break. Great. Here we go. 1. Oh, it's too small. Make you bigger. Okay. On the other. 1, 2, 3. 2. The extent to 1, 2, 3. Good. As well, blank. As well, 1, 2, 3. 4. Bum bum bum. It is important blank. Important. 1, 2, 3. Good. 5. At the same blank. The same old blank. At the same blank. 1, 2, 3. And finally, bonus 6, which was the total number blank. Okay. Who got all of these? Raise your hand. That is, who spelled all of these? No one? You did not spell these? Yes? Okay, good. Yeah, these 3, that's good. The rest of you guys, oh, I don't know. This is what I want you to do. In your groups, let's get the answers to these. Okay? And then I'll call you, put it on the board. I'm going to say it one more time. In your groups, discuss the answers to these, then we'll put the stuff on the board. What are the instructions? Casey?
First we
Easy. 2 minutes. Go. Talk to each other. Something's going on. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Great. Okay. You know what to do. Give me 1 and 2. Give me 3 and 4. Give me 5. Give me 6. Okay. So easy. Not too difficult. When you're ready, go ahead. Yeah. Give me the entire expression. Okay? Yeah. Discuss first. Get the right answer. How much do you know about language? Word relationships in English.
Can you give me some tips for the second question?
No, it's meant to be funny. Go up to the board. This one might be the trickiest. Just talk to each other. Put something on the board. Can you write the entire expression? Oh, hey, just give me number 6, okay? So just write out, you have number 5. Just write out number 5. Okay? So just write out number 5 over there. Can you write out the expression at the same? Oh. Come on, guys, let's go. Give me something on the board. Then I'll explain the significance of these particular expressions. One and 2. You can do it. That's crazy. Curious. Very curious. Wow. Really? Oh, that's going to spell that correctly. Okay, one more. All right, good. On the other side. Okay, let's talk about expressions. Right? On the one hand, we have on the one hand, and then we have on the other hand. On the one hand, on the other hand. Okay, so on the other side, yes, other side, yes. Okay, this is a good expression too, on the other side. But on the other hand is actually a stronger combination of these 4 words. When you put these 4 words together, you're more likely to see on the other hand than on the other side. Okay? At least that's what I think. Well, let me explain where these came from first. Okay? So this is okay. This is okay. Good. We can also have on the other hand. Okay. Also okay. The extent to study. Does anyone else have another guess? If you can get this one, I will give you a lollipop. This one is by far the most difficult for one specific reason. The extent to do. Sorry. Good try. The extent to access. Sorry, guys. Okay. Then I'll explain why this one is by far the most difficult. As well, what is this word? As? Good. Okay, as well as. Great. It is important that. Does anyone else have another guess? 2. Yes. At the same time, nice. The total number of, good. All right. Now let me explain where these came from. My friend at the University of Hong Kong, where is it, has put together an academic collocation list. Let me make this bigger. And what she did was she went through some journal articles, like academic writing, and she selected the most frequently used expressions, most frequently used collocations in this academic writing. So the most frequently used expression that kept appearing over and over and over again was on the other hand. Okay? So while on the other side is a possibility, when you're writing academically, you will see on the other hand the most. So we see the extent to which, as well as the, is it important to, right? While it is important that may be okay, it is important to is much more prevalent in academic writing. At the same time, do the total number of. Right. Now let me ask you a question. Why was this the most difficult? Think in terms of grammar. I suspected that this would be the most difficult one for you guys. In IELTS, there's something called complex expressions. That is, when you take IELTS, you'll be marked on the complexity of your expressions. That means the number of clauses you can put together. So, I'm studying the extent to which pedagogical technologists can This is a complex expression, right? There are 2 clauses. I'm studying the extent pedagogical technologists can impact the school's way of doing to that extent, right? And this is a relative pronoun. That's why it's difficult for you guys. Because a lot of you, maybe one of your weaknesses is using relative pronouns. Which, where, who, that, right? To put together 2 clauses. So that was my suspicion. I just thought this one was difficult. It's actually too much. So in fact, there are 2 sentences here. I am studying the extent, and pedagogical technologists can impact their school's ways of doing to the extent. Any questions? Well, this is useful for academic writing. I use it in academic writing as well. Okay. And let me move on. Here we go. We're going to talk about the importance of learning this. We're going to talk about the importance of learning this. We're going to talk about the importance of learning this. So these are all components of something called the lexical approach. Some guy named Michael Lewis, he came up with this idea. You guys in school most likely learn grammar, and then you learn vocabulary separately. Right? You had grammar book, you had vocabulary section. Now this guy said, why don't you learn both at the same time? All right, you can learn both at the same time by studying these things, especially collocation. Certain words go together with certain words. Certain words must go together with certain words. Right? For example, a fixed expression, in the main, in fact, by and large. These are fixed expressions, right? They have to go together, or else they lose their meaning. Hip-hop. Right? Looking at your shirts. That's a collocation. Quality. Out of style. Out of style. You actually, on your shirts, you have language that actually goes together, right? Looking at your stuff. So, a lot of you guys in your schooling, you learn grammar, and then you learn vocabulary. But when you learn vocabulary, you had lists, right? Words. You just learn words by themselves. But Michael Lewis is saying you can learn grammar and vocabulary together by learning words together. Which subjects and which verbs go together. Because you have this in Cantonese as well. A very good example is like, what's a very good example? That's one very good example. This is another. I forget which tone this is. Another good example is so, for example, in Cantonese you also have these expressions. Let me give you another one. So, in Cantonese, you also have the same expressions, and these have actually helped me to learn Cantonese. 做好準備. That's a lexical, that's a collocation. You can't say 打好準備. You can't say it. You say 做好準備, just like you can 打好基礎, right? But you can't 打好準備. So this is how you can learn language very easily. You know which verbs go with which expressions, etc. You can 堅持原則, right? But you can't 堅持 other things, right? Like you can't really 揸住原則. You can 揸住宗旨, right? Or something like that. But I can't 揸住原則 as much as I can 堅持原則. 我想問下呢， That's a fixed expression. You just say that, right? 我想問下呢，請問, right? This is just, these kinds of things are in your language too. And when we learn language, not by like 請, just learn 請, no, you learn 請問 or 我想問下呢, you don't learn 問, you learn 請問 or 我想問下呢, you realize, wow, I just have more language now. Right? And you learn how to use language accurately. Any questions? Now I'm going to ask you to talk in groups. Take maybe 5 minutes. I want you to answer this question. I'm going to make it big. How can learning fixed expressions, all of this stuff, how can learning all of this stuff help us to improve our vocabulary? As opposed, I'm going to change this. As opposed to studying words in isolation. All right? So how is this an improvement over just studying this word, for example, or this word, or this word? I'm going to say it one more time, and then I'm going to give you 5 minutes to come up with some reasons. How is this way of learning vocabulary and grammar an improvement over studying words in isolation or just grammar? I'll give you 5 minutes. Go ahead. Give me some reasons why this is important. Think. Just showing you this. Why is this important? Talk to each other. 5 minutes. Just give me a few ideas. This is better. This is better. Someone to report. Why is this better than just studying grammar by itself or just studying words, isolated words? Get one person to report. One person to report to the class, okay? What are some reasons why this may be an improvement on studying grammar and vocabulary? Why could this be better than studying grammar by itself or studying words in isolation? And we can do something special. All right, let's talk. This group over here. Why may this method, right, it's called the lexical approach, be an improvement over learning grammar by itself or learning vocabulary by looking at isolated words? Because people in our minds already have these collocations in our head. Just the problem or the issue is that like native speakers just have more of this stuff in their heads already. You guys are just trying to put it in your heads. But the way we put it in your heads is not always the best way, right? Like giving you Longman Express vocabulary list and then grammar explained vocabulary book. It's not the best way to put what I have in my head in your head. Good. Nice. This group over here. Any reasons? Additional reasons? Yes.
By learning this collocation, we can learn more vocabulary compared with only one word research.
Good.
And we can learn more regulation of English, just like grammar of English. For example, if we learn the extent to which, we can also learn the adjective clause.
Good. These are all very important reasons. One, we need to write things. And it's a lot easier to write 4 words together than figure out how to write just one word at a time. Hand, what goes after hand, right? So it's an easier way to just fill up your page with accurate English. You can also use this for spoken language. That's also very important. Just use a lot of these fixed expressions. It makes you sound smart. Why? Because you know exactly what to say. And what was your reason again? Can you say that again?
Do you want me to repeat the reason?
Yeah, repeat what you said.
Yes, we can learn the grammar of English by learning collocation. For example, if we learn the extent to which, we can also learn the adjective clause.
Yes.
So we can learn more grammar of English by learning collocation.
Sure, we can. And it's inductive. That is, you actually don't need to learn what the grammar function is. You just know, for example, 打好基礎 or 做好準備. Like you know that these go together and you're more likely to say this than like 打咗基礎 or whatever, right? You realize that how would I say this? The grammar is already embedded in the collocation. The grammar is already embedded. Right? So, in something like this, the vocabulary and grammar are already in here, already embedded. And it's a better way to think than you have vocabulary, word, plus vocabulary word, plus grammar, your sentence. So I think a lot of people who are learning English, they think like this. You got a word, you got a word, you got a word, you got a word. Apply the grammar. Bum, 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 bum. I got it. All right? And that's not, this piecemeal approach creates errors. Right? If they just had this in the form of these things, then maybe their expressions would be more accurate. Because they're already using accurate expressions. Any questions? Okay, let me show you one thing before we go on break. Hello, where are you? I used to teach at City U, and I'll show you an application of this in writing. Niles So what these guys did was they were analyzing written text for collocations, lexical phrases, semi-fixed expressions. And then they use it in their own writing. So for example, a lexical phrase at the beginning, or in the beginning. Right? In the beginning is actually more appropriate than at the beginning. Attended a series of. That's a semi-fixed expression. Attended a series of something. Let me give you one more. Poured into. Poured into as opposed to poured of or poured in. Poured into. Cope with. You cope with something. Provide with as opposed to provide of or provide from. In order to. Fixed expression. Due to, in order to, not in order from. Put it in. Put something in. Put the phone in. Put the water in. Say about something. We talk about things. We don't talk of. We can talk of things. We don't necessarily talk from things. So you can analyze written text for these things, and then you can consciously include these things in your writing. Questions? Take a break. Let's come back at 11:33. Where's the word? Okay, welcome back. Again, I want to emphasize that this lexical approach is everywhere. Language, word relationships are everywhere. Monday to Friday. Self-access center. That's it. Self-access pen? No. Self-access marker? No. Self-access center. Hit the sack is a fixed expression. It's an idiomatic expression. This is a play on words. Join us on. Follow us on. These are collocations. Even here, this crazy piece of paper that I found. The language is everywhere. Selection criteria. Criteria selection. Put them together. Gapo, answer this for me. For final year undergraduate blank. Fill in the blank. For final year undergraduate. It's going to all be a thing. Undergraduate students, final year students, right? These are things that go together, not marker students. Right? Marker students, no, it doesn't work. Final year students, undergraduate students. For more details about XYZ, submit your what? Submit your leaf. Where are you? Good. You can submit your CV. All right. Wilson, you can submit your what?
Work.
You can submit your work. You can submit your homework. You can submit your application. You can't submit your marker. All right. So again, this language is everywhere, and it's in every language. Let me ask you a question. Before we did this warm-up on independent learning, what was I trying to do with Cantonese? I had an objective. I wanted to do something with Cantonese. Chun, do you remember? Maybe another example. Fiona, do you remember? What was I trying to do with Cantonese? Learning something very specific about Cantonese. Louder. How do I pray in Cantonese? Now, what kinds of expressions do I need? All right, this is a real-life example from me about how I learned to pray in Cantonese. I'm going to write all of this stuff out. So, I'm going to be using this word a lot. I know that. Sun, right? Now, what kind of sun am I talking about? What kinds of expressions go out? How can I call sun when I pray, right? He can be yepo. He can be these things, right? I'm more likely to say these things than he's more likely to be this, this, this. I'm more likely to say this and hear this than this and this. Alright? So that's how I learned that he's one yi gesan, or hou mai gesan, or on mai gesan. He's not a zoi zhao gesan, or a hou han gesan, or whatever. Right? Think this rather than this. When I pray, I need more fixed expressions. We know that when Christians pray, they say this. This is a semi-fixed expression. That is, there are many ways to say this. Right? 奉主耶穌基督嘅名求. Right? But But you can say it in many different ways, like 奉耶穌嘅名求. That's it. Right? Or you can say whatever. I mean, there are many ways to actually say this, but it follows this format, right? So that's how I learned to pray in Cantonese, using this lexical approach. Learning this kind of stuff. Any questions? Okay, I need to show you a few things, and then we're going to discuss, and then we're going to finish the lesson. This is an important website. It's called Just the Word, and this shows you collocations. It is like the most beautiful collocation lexical approach websites ever. All right, ready? Let's try this. So recent searches. How do you use the word population? How do you actually use this word in English? And we just look for combinations. This came from Japan. Someone in Japan wants to see population. Okay, show us how to use population. This word. Oh, let me erase that. Oh, it's not here. Even word. No, I don't want to see that. Oh, it's not there. Okay, let's try something else. Oh, look, there we are. Where's us? Transfer. Show me transfer. Show me. What? What's going on here? Anyway, I'm not sure what's going on. Usually it provides words, but I have no idea why there are no combinations here. I wonder if it's the browser. This is really weird. Sorry. That's really. I think something's wrong with the browser. Sorry, guys. But this is a really important website. Let me see if I can show you a video. YouTube. Maybe I made something about this. Okay. Search my videos. Just the word. Just the word. Did I make something about this? Oh, no. Here we go. Good. Okay, so I made a video about this last year. We can watch this. Yeah, can we do that? Just source that I'd like to review today. Client recommended check it out. So, oh, come on, what happened? Okay, acquire. So I put in the word acquire. This source is also visual. Does this work? Oh, come on. And now I get a list of all kinds of words that are used with acquire. And then I see the frequency of how often they're used. So when we're talking about acquiring something, what are you most likely to acquire? You're most likely going to acquire a skill. You're more likely to acquire a skill than acquire a company. All right? And we can see the most popular ways to use acquire. Acquire an object. Acquire a skill. All right? Which noun, which subject is most likely used to acquire? Company acquire. Okay? Which adverb is most likely to be used with acquire? Recently acquire. Which preposition is most likely to be used with acquire? Acquire by. Alright? Verb which verbs are used, have and acquire, which verbs acquire and develop. Okay, so this presents a lot of information about how to use acquire with which words in which grammar forms. It's beautiful. Any questions? So this is a really good website. I use it myself. All right. Now I need to show you some Mahara and Moodle stuff. Okay, I'm glad some of you friended me on Mahara. More of you need to do this. I need to show you a few things. You have homework that's due next week. All right. What do you need to include in your homework? It's on page 13. On the top of page 13. Oh, look at all these people. Great. So you need to make sure everyone can see your portfolio. You need to write a self-introduction, and you also need to invite us so we can access your portfolio. I already wrote my self-introduction. Okay. Oh, I have some friends. Great. Hey, Fiona. Fiona's one of my friends. Let's look at the other stuff. Oh, nothing yet. So you need an introduction. You also have to start developing your e-portfolio. And to do that, well, actually, let me show you one more thing. You need to make sure that things are viewable as well. So you need to click on this. Where's my stuff? Hello. Okay. Go to Portfolio. And then these are the pages in your portfolio. You need to create a page. You need to edit the page. Okay? And you do stuff over here. You need to share your page. You need to allow people to see it. Finally, you need to join this. Join the class. All right? So 1, you need to create your portfolio, allow everyone to see it. 2, you need to join the class so everyone can find you. I'm the only oh, hey, we're 2 members now. Great. Oh. Is this section 30? No, not section 30. So this is section 29, right? What section is this? 29. Oh, this is the other class. All right, so I made it that you can find the group, right? Let's do section 30. No, let's do all groups. Find groups, section 30. Oh, there we are. Okay? And you need to join the group. But I'm already a part of the group. So I'll say that again. You need to provide a self-introduction. You need to make sure that people can see it. You need to start developing your portfolio. You will need a page. Create a page. Allow people to see it. You will need to join our group, or one of this group here, so everyone can see your stuff. Any questions?
Join the session 29 or session 30.
We're section 29. You can join my other class if you want to. I don't know, up to you. All right, we're section 29. So join this. My afternoon class will join that. Okay. Join course group. Open view. Any questions? Next, turn to pages 22 and 23. We have some homework. Activity name, objective, materials, duration. You had to complete one of these. And which parts of learning are we talking about? Learning objective, learning task, and or feedback. I'm going to say it again. You had to give me activity name, objective, materials, duration. Which of these stages of learning are we talking about? Learning objective, learning task, and or feedback. Let me call on Neo. Okay. You had homework. Which parts of learning are we talking about? Are we covering into doing this? Learning objective, okay. And we're also, Carrie, talking about what? Okay, good. So, activity name, objective, materials, duration. This covers learning objective and part of the learning task. Put this over here for a second. Now I'm going to tell you what you need to put on your e-portfolio in both assignments. Turn to page 24. There is no set format for how you have to submit things, all right? There's no set format. But what people last year did was they followed 24, 25, and 26. All right? You could separate your homework into 3 parts. Each homework assignment has 3 parts. Before, during, or after study. You could do that. Alright? And if you look carefully, you see that before covers learning objective, during covers learning task, and after, covers the feedback, the reflection. Just letting you know. So you could also organize it objective, task, feedback, your choice. So there are many ways that you can organize your assignments that you give to me in independent learning. Last year there was a template, but apparently there's no template this year because we want you to, I don't know, not follow templates. So there are many ways that you can present the information to me. But again, look at the marking criteria. Where's the criteria? Where are you? Which page is the marking criteria? 8. Great, thank you. All right. So you see how things are going to be graded. 3 stages before, during, and after are completed, or learning objective, learning task, and feedback. Okay. And then everything makes sense to me. Right. There's enough, it's significant, and it's coherent. Enough, significant, coherent. All right. Questions? Yep, the first assignment is due before week 6. And then the second assignment is due before week 12. Next week, you have to give me you have to join our group, get your introduction done. Make sure we can all access it and see it. All right? Good question. Any other questions? You can do this. It's so easy, man. This is a lot easier than City U. This is good. You can do this. It'll look good. Here we go. You have a learning plan, page 22, right? You completed one. I want you guys to share your learning plan, this part, right? These things that you came up with. And for each person, I want you to suggest one improvement, right? What is one thing that we can improve for each plan? I'm going to say it again. Share your learning objectives. Share your learning plan, right, your homework. What is one thing that you guys can improve for each plan? What are the instructions? Angus.
We need to share our learning objectives.
Okay, so share your learning plan. Share your homework, right? And then let's find a suggestion. All right, let's find room for improvement. What's one thing that we can improve for each one, right? For each plan. Yanni, instructions. Good. All right. So share the plan. One improvement for each plan. Afterwards, I'm going to call on one person to present their plan. Go ahead. I'll give you 10 minutes. Share your plans. Sit down. Face each other. Learning more. Nine minutes. Say that again. Give me a sentence. Enough information. Good. That's enough information. There are two things. One, in your group, you present each person, and then you find a suggestion for the group. Then, when we are together as a class, each group just present one. What are the instructions? In your groups, you're going to share all your points, and you will discuss all your points. That's one thing you can do. As a class, then this group just share one point. Carrie, what are the instructions? You've done part one. Good. Let's get part two. Okay, 3 minutes. What did you do? Now tell me. Summarize. Good. Now select one person who is going to present their plan to the class. One person to report. Okay. Need someone to present. 2 minutes. Talk. But you can start discussing how you have the feedback for your assignment, right? That's another part of the plan. You didn't have to do it, but you can still talk about it. are you?
Maybe we can watch a difficult movie and see if we can understand only the subtitles. Reading.
Try to recite the lyrics.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, girls. You girls are working very well. I like this group. Guys and gals, let me share with you one thing. This is the last lesson that we have together like this for independent learning. Our next lesson on Thursday, we move on to listening and speaking. We already do that in this class. But we will focus more on listening and speaking next lesson. We're done with independent learning. After this, you're on your own. Have fun. Add oil. All right? So this is our last chance to improve together as a class. Here's the deal. I'm going to call on you. I want your group mate to present the plan. All right? I need you to listen carefully. All right? And then afterwards, I need you to think about the feedback mechanism. So the person is going to present, hello, where are you? The objective, the materials, the activity, time period, all right? So the person's going to present the learning objective and the learning task. I want you to think about how can this person get feedback? What is the feedback mechanism? How does the person know that the person actually accomplished the objective by doing that? Right, I'm going to say it one more time. Someone is going to present. They're going to present their plan. You tell me what is the feedback mechanism or what could be the feedback mechanism if the person did not tell us what the feedback mechanism is. Okay, Tracy, instructions. Yes, the feedback is what is the feedback or what could be the feedback for the learning plan. How do we know the person after doing this actually accomplished that? Let's give it a shot. Let's go with back group first.
Hey guys,
Hey.
I want to learn is the pronunciation of English. Yeah, I mean the accent of English actually. I just want to learn how to improve my pronunciation. Because if you can speak English fluently and with a good pronunciation, then people will think that oh you're good at English. So that's what I want. And materials I will use maybe some TV programs in English or some stories, etc. And I will watch these programs and watch the transcript at the same time to see and follow the pronunciation of the late English speakers and to improve them. And what activities I will join maybe I don't know maybe some exchange programs. I don't have money to do so. So maybe I will make some foreign friends and talk with them in English. I will possibly spend 2 hours on doing so, and what I can get feedback from maybe I will make some records of English. I will just myself, and I will ask some professional advice from teachers or some SSC people. I don't know how to say, maybe I will go to SSC and ask some advice from them. I will ask where can I improve my pronunciation of English.
Let's do it one more time. Just in a very clear manner, what is the objective? What are you going to do? I'm going to call on one of you, tell us how he can get feedback. All right? We'll do it one more time. Very clearly. Any objective, task. I'll call on you, tell us what the feedback is or what could be the feedback. Go ahead, one more time.
Objective is TV programs in English. I take it as the objective.
The objective is you want to learn something.
Oh, pronunciation of English.
Good. Okay. Next.
Learning task is, you mean resources for learning task?
That includes, learning task includes the resources. It also includes what you're going to do.
Some stories in English and news and TV programs.
What are you going to do with those resources?
Just listen to them and follow the pronunciation of the English speakers and learn them.
Okay, now I'm going to call on one of you guys. What is one way? What's the objective again?
Pronunciation of English.
What is one way that he can get feedback on whether or not by using those resources he actually improved his pronunciation? Just take 10 seconds to think about that. What is a way that he can say, hey, I did this or did not do that? I improved or did not improve? We'll do it randomly. Okay. Michael, what is a feedback mechanism?
We say he will list some points and speakers. So maybe he can ask them whether his pronunciation was improved or not.
Okay, that's a good point. All right, it's a good possibility. But remember, those people have not heard him speak before. Right?
But when he first meet with those people, his pronunciation had not been improved, so they can check whether his pronunciation was improved or not in the future.
Good. That's it. Before and after. Right? Before you check, after you check. Okay. Nice job. This group over here, give us a plan.
I'm going to improve my listening skill. When someone speaks fast, I even cannot hear his word clearly, and I miss the meaning at last. So what I'm going to do is to watch some DVD with the subtitle, and during in the when I watch the movie, I can also jot down some useful words at the same time, so I will learn more words, and I can also try to listen try to listen the pronunciation just to improve my listening skill.
Okay.
How can I get the feedback? Is to maybe I can buy some listening exercise, and I can I can do some exercise before I have I have watched the movie and do another exercise after I have watched the movie to see whether I have improved or not.
Okay, we have to do that one more time. You're going to tell me what the objective is and what you're going to do. And I'm going to call on someone. You tell me what the feedback mechanism is or could be. All right?
The learning objective is to improve my listening skill,
Okay.
and the learning task is watching some DVD.
Okay, suggestion for improvement. What part of listening do you want to improve? Like just paying attention? Or you can listen for all sorts of things, can't you? You can listen for keywords. You can listen to summarize.
I guess I want to listen. I want to ensure that I can listen every word the speaker speak.
Okay, what's a feedback mechanism? Leaf.
The feedback.
Yes.
I think maybe you can, if you want to improve his listening skill, and you can listen some song and you can repeat the lyrics. Yeah.
Say it one more time, okay? You've just heard his listening objective, his learning objective, and his learning task. What's a feedback mechanism to demonstrate that I either learned to improve my comprehension or did not learn to improve my comprehension?
You can first listen to the programs, do you mean program in English, and see the subtitles. And for a few days after he doing so, he can watch. Sorry, he can listen to the programs without seeing the subtitle, and to see whether he can understand what the program is talking about.
But how does he check that he understands? This is the most important thing.
And then just take a view back and just see the subtitles to see, oh, and I guess the meaning or something.
Good. That's a good feedback mechanism. All right. Wow. This was very exciting to hear your learning plans. It's like being on an airplane that's going up and down. It's like, whoa, I'm so excited. All right. You guys need learning plans. I'm going to give you your homework now. You must show one of your learning plans to an SAC tutor. All right. You got to go to the SAC and say, hey, look at this. What's right and what's wrong? I want comments from the SAC tutor. You can have it done by, how long do you need? A week? 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Week 3, 4. I'm going to write this out, this assignment. In fact, I'll give you 3 weeks. When you submit assignment 1 in week 6, I want to see the SAC tutor's signature on your plan. All right? So whatever your learning objectives are, learning tasks, etc., I want to see that you showed it to the SAC tutor and you got that person's comments. I'm going to say it one more time, and I'll write it for you guys. I'll tell it to you on Thursday again. So assignment 6, in week 6, you have assignment 1. On your e-portfolio on Mahara, take a picture of it, okay? I want to see the SAC tutor's signature. that the tutor has taken a look at your plan and has commented on it. All right? I just want someone else to take a look at it. I'll repeat this again on Thursday. So I want to see this. This is important. Questions? Oh, I forgot to give you feedback. I forgot some. I want to cry. So that's it. We're done with independent learning. Show what you're going to do to the SAC tutor. Show what you are going to do to the SAC tutor. I want to see signatures. I want to see Ashley's signature or Emily's signature or Austin's signature. I want to see that they took a look and said, hey, this is good, or hey, this can definitely be improved. When you're done with the feedback, give it to me and you can go. When you're done, thank you very much. You guys can go. Have a good lunch. Have a good Mid-Autumn Festival. Bless your families. Done. Yep, great. Thank you. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Good. Thank you very much. You guys can go. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks, John. Happy Mid-Autumn Festival. Okay. Thank you very much.